Hello everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is Chris from Cinema Trailer News, and this will be my breakdown for Miss Marvel episode 3. Now, this was a good episode and a lot of interesting things in this episode, so let's get into the breakdown. Now, it looks like Miss Marvel and Shang might actually be connected. Yes, that's the 10 rings of the floor of the tomb in our 1942 flashback in India, where our displaced Djinn find one of the two bangers. They apparently need to get back home to the North dimension. North means like in Arabic. So many questions. Why is the Chinese writing in a tomb in India? Is the other banger the 10 rings? That's interesting. And also, who does the separate blue arm belong to? Me, I think it's Kree. Because of course, Miss Marvel is about to co-star in the Marvels sequel, and Captain Marvel spent a lot of time with the Kree, but that means Shang-Chi bracelets are Kree. Their art, of course, has been around much longer, millennium, you know, as well known from his father, and I guess that would make sense why there is this tomb. Or did the British, is the bracelet, or maybe it's in a museum, maybe Stephen Grant is looking after it. All this stuff is starting to come together in a very hope and interesting way, and it seems a little chaotic right now, but I'm here for it. I mean, Marvel is stronger when everything interconnects, and we seem to be heading finally to that path. A little bit of to phase 4 has seen a little less directionless. Alright, right now, remember at the end, the Shang-Chi, at the end of that movie, it was discovered that the bracelets were sending out a signal. Is that signal to the North dimension? It can be hollow because Carol was on it, and that part was, and she was stopped, and so it's got to be was something they weren't aware of. So I will say that Kamala Khan being reimagined as a Genie instead of an inhuman. I'm not a fan of the execution when I actually see it taking place. Like for instance, how many supergirls have been hanging around for decades or more doing absolutely nothing. First the Eternals, then the avatars of the Egyptian gods over in Moon Knight, and now this Djinn. The clandestine is too many girls or doing the same thing. Why they don't make some of these the same group, quite frankly? And why don't the Djinn have any powers? Why don't they just immediately take the banger and use it to unlock their own powers as Kamala did? They seem just to see it as a gateway to their home world, but maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know about it, unlocking powers, because Cameron's mother didn't see Aisha put the banger on and unlock her own abilities, just as Bruno didn't see it when Kamala did it. I thought that was a really nice callback. And by the way, when Kamala, and I'm assuming her grandmother, flipped backwards, is that to the North dimension? Why is everyone just standing around in it? Aisha, by the way, is stunning. Such a charismatic, gorgeous actor. And if her daughter, Sana, who is Kamala's grandmother, if she saw the same vision of a train, which is where she says Kamala needs to come to Karachi, does that mean she has power as well? And what about Kamala's mother? I hope Kamala's mother has power. I really like Kamala's mother. I think she's not only a wonderful person, but she has a cool factor. And I think she's cool. And it's driving me crazy that Kamala won't tell her parents about what's happening to her. She really wants ruining her brother's wedding to be on her without good explanation. Who will take that burden on? When again her family is just so wonderful. Sometimes Kamala is not very nice. And I thought she wasn't very nice to Bruno yet again in this episode, which I guess she gets a little from her mother. Sometimes her mom isn't so nice either, but her dad is a sweetheart, and I guess her brother takes after her father. And I love that conversation they had together. That was really nice. Well, talk about the wedding. But overall, her parents are so understanding, so generally thoughtful and helpful, and I thought the idea for Avengers Con was solid, better than solid. Plus, it's also her mother's family. Her mother has right to know and probably knows more than she's letting on. She's made it kind of clear she knows more than she's letting on. It just, to me, it seems like bad writing to create conflict that Kamala doesn't tell her parents what's going on. Her parents asked her point blank and said they would support her. How many times is Kamala going to go through this in this season? I mean, Nakia is pretty upset about being kept in the dark, and she's just a friend, so imagine how betrayed Kamala's family will feel. How many times Kamala is going to make her dad cry. Alright, so while there's a ton of info in this episode, I think the new Miss Marvel mythology is overly complicated with very little payoff. The wedding fight was just a little too low budget for my liking. It's like you're just gonna walk slowly around the kitchen. Come on. Also, it's brutal to watch Bruno just to be stuck in the friend zone. He continued to work so hard to be part of Kamala's life and to help her out, and he's just like, I can't watch it anymore, Bruno. Ask her out or move. Go to Carthage. And I'm so glad he's planning to go to Carthage. He deserves it. He's already the Tony Stark of the good. He's solving Tony Stark level problems. Kamala is basically coming over to him saying, solve time travel for me, and he's like doing it, kind of, and I think that's incredible. That's his journey with Command. Should be, I mean, he's already been accepted, but that's his letter there, his essay for college. One of the things that I continue to love about this episode that I was so happy to continue to see it here with episode 3 is the celebration and exploration of Muslim culture, and introducing audience who are aware of those things to that world. And I'm having a great time. I think it's great. Army and Taisha's wedding is so well realized, from Muslim custom to that really fun dance number that was not only fun and well done, but it made you feel so nice about the family that they planned. That's the best for the couple, for the wedding, and for the bride and groom. I thought that was great. But I also love the quiet moments in this episode with Kamala's Iman, and to see her seeking guidance from him, and for him to give such a kindful and helpful advice. I think her Iman is just a really swell guy. And also happy that Nakia was elected to the Mars board and is already kicking butt. She handled those DODC people, their working papers, and although I was shocked there were so Christians to violate the Mars like that, to wear their shoes inside, especially when they were to ask the Mars for help. I was like, you're not serving a role, you're not here to arrest somebody, you're not here to mean business, you're trying to like say work with us, and you walk on the carpet. Come on. I mean, that was just a mess. And by the way, speaking of the DLC people, how expensive is Area March that they had to switch to his less charismatic partner to make all the rounds here. I'm like, where the LA guy go? I mean, what a bummer. I can't imagine if he's that expensive, he doesn't work that much. And he's have to know that to take his shoes off, or just at least to stay off the rock. Other great moments in this episode, that cover band of Brown Javi, they were fantastic. That's going to come back in the MCU. It has to. It's so great. Then follow up with the Etching Being True, a classic Bon Jovi song. What a fantastic callback to last week's episode about how much her parents and all New Jersey love Bon Jovi, who themselves are New Jersey natives, and it seems that Cameron isn't as evil as the rest of rest of his clan, or he's just playing the long game. But is that also means, since he's also a Jinn, that means he has power too? If he were to put the banger on, he's hoping that next week's trip to Karachi clears all of this up. If we will meet Red Dagger from the comments who was in Karachi. Is that correct? I mean, I hope next week's episode is done well instead of a trip overseas like I felt Moon Knight was. I mean, that ended up working okay, even though they was hanging out like in the same square. But I really like to feel we're in Karachi. I think that's important. Kamala Khan went to Pakistan in the comments, and her parents did eventually find out about her parents. She met Red Dagger. That was another love triangle. But this show is like the comments on fast forward. They're born into an awful love story, and hope that by the end of the season they have a lot of show for it. Right now, I'm a little nervous with how much story they're born into, especially because I think they're now not on a solid footing with this new origin story of Kamala Khan. It shouldn't be this complicated. It should be simpler than this. It should be, really. I don't understand if you have like witches and sorcerers like Wanda and Steven. Why can't you have Jean like Kamala? That to me was, I don't know what is going on here. She seems to be, again, maybe like in the wrong corner of the MCU. She should be in Mystic, not Cosmic. I don't care where they put her in the comments, because the way they reimagine here in the MCU, she belongs in Mystic. So that's my breakdown for Miss Marvel episode 3. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, consider subscribe to the channel, and like always, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.